It is a wonderful privilege and honor for me to be able to share these few words on the occasion of a Thanksgiving service being held in the land of our birth, in the church of our childhood, for a very special person in the life of our church over the years and in my life personally as well. And that's, of course, our dear brother, Reverend Neville Lawson Koch. Neville and I joined seminary in 1964. I joined in January and Neville joined in August. So we have been involved in the work of the Lord from 1969 onwards in an ordained capacity. But before that, Neville and I shared many commonalities in life, and I can truly say that he is someone that is very special to me, and I really am honored that I can speak these few words on this occasion. I'd like to share some thoughts about Neville as a person and Neville as the pastor or a pastor. And both of these, his personality and his ministry, are intertwined and interlinked like two sides of one coin. Neville was a very special person to the Lord, and the Lord touched him and touched his heart in a very mature way to be able to share the good news of the gospel to people who really needed to know of the saving grace of God. So who he was determined what he did. And God gave him special gifts and talents that enhanced his work in his calling as a pastor, as a shepherd of his sheep. Neville and I go back many years in our childhood, in our growing up years, in our teenage years. Neville came into my life through our mutual involvement in the youth work in our denomination, in the DRC in Sri Lanka. Of course, Neville was the son of Uncle Lawson and Auntie Margie, very special people, and I think and I believe that apples don't fall far from the tree. And Neville was really a person who lived out the humility and the servant heart of Uncle Lawson. I'm so touched by the qualities that God created and cultivated in Neville's heart and life, and those qualities were that which endeared him to people. He had a very loving, caring, and a compassionate heart. He had a charisma about him that attracted people to him, and on a lighter vein, it was this charisma, this magnetic attraction that brought many girls into his life. He was never without someone that he adored or admired on the opposite sex, and he had quite a few encounters with these people. But Lorraine was the fortunate one to finally be linked to him in marriage. And Neville and Lorraine were a wonderful couple that served the Lord with faithfulness and determination in their tenure of ministry in Sri Lanka. So Neville's personality was such that he was able to share the love of Jesus in a very caring and a compassionate way. His ministry spanned many years, and yes, he was 6 months younger than me in the ministry, and we would have been 55 years in the ordained ministry next year. So Neville served the Lord very faithfully in the DRC in Sri Lanka as well as the CRC in America. And the congregations that he pastored, I'm sure were truly enriched by his ministry pastorally and also through his preaching. So he as a person matched his role as a pastor. And he finally was able to share the love of Jesus with people who were close to death, virtually on the finishing line almost. And his hospice ministry was that which really brought out the best in Neville. Neville studied with me in the theological seminary in Sri Lanka and received an opportunity to go to America and a scholarship, and where he studied, and he specialized in the discipline of counseling, and this was his forte. And through that, he was able to share the love of Jesus to people who really needed to know that Jesus was the way, the truth, and the life. In addition to his ministry as a pastor, he was also involved in teaching. Talking about Neville and his ministry, there's one area I would like to touch on, and that is his music ministry. He had a wonderful voice, and the Lord used him with that voice to be able to communicate the message of the gospel through music and song. He and I have shared duets together, we have sung in quartets together, and we have sung in harmony together. And if I took the melody, Neville was very, very quick and adept to sing a part with me. And if he took the melody, I would harmonize with him. And we have recorded for ourselves these songs that we sang, and they always remind me, and I'm sure it reminded him, of the harmony with which we not only sang, but also we lived our lives. We sang in choirs together. He was one of the founding tenors of the youth choir that we began in the early 1960s under Reverend Roger Greenway. And then we sang the DRC Music Guild Choir, and Neville had a wonderful tenor voice, and I'm sure he continued using that voice even in America. And so the Lord gave him the gift of music, which is so surely an augmentation and an enhancement of his ministry to people in presenting the gospel to them vocally. And I know he was able to use these gifts in the theological seminary in Sri Lanka and even in the wider Christian community in Sri Lanka. So we just want to say thank you to the Lord for the gift of Neville, and we know that he served the Lord faithfully, and truly when he ended his life, or when his life ended, the Lord ushered him into his holy presence, and I'm sure he had the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter thou into the joy of your Lord." And with the Apostle Paul, we can truly say that Neville fought the good fight of faith, he finished the race, and he certainly kept the faith. He was one who never undermined or questioned the Word of God and the simple gospel of salvation through Christ alone. He faithfully preached his word, and we know that there are people even today who report that they were touched by Neville's life and by his ministry, and they are a living legacy of the fruit of Neville's labors. So on this day, when our denomination in Sri Lanka has an opportunity to celebrate his life and thank God for his witness and ministry, it is wonderful that I, far away in Australia, could be a part of that. And I want to thank you for this opportunity, and I pray for God's ongoing blessings on your work in Sri Lanka, because it is my home church, it is the church of my childhood, and the church that I love so much. May God bless all of you and keep the faith and keep running the race till the very end. Thank you, and God bless you.